Hey guys, welcome. Still at QuakeCon 2013. I'm joined by DaHanG. So you just had an amazing performance against Evil. We'd never seen that matchup before. So tell me your thoughts on just Evil, because you knew before coming to this event that you're going to have to face him. So what were you thinking about before going into the game?
I felt maybe his aggression could either work in his benefit or he get caught in really bad spots. He made some really good pushes on me on ZTN because it's those super split-second moments where if you don't react appropriately, you're dead. And so he capitalizes on those moments pretty well. And you know, I think if he can manage when to decide when to do those moves, like, he's really tough to beat. And then I think he kind of just got angry on the second map versus me, or maybe just felt it was over a little early and then kind of ran around shooting. I don't know. So
I'd say my kind of theory. I mean, Evil, as you're saying, is like he can be really aggressive, but it really seemed like I remember one situation in particular where Evil did a rush on you on Furious Heights, and he was anticipating to spawn somewhere that wasn't right in front of you, and you like hit the rail of the spawn, and it felt like some of his plans can really blow up in his face. What do you think about his style? I mean, he's had great successes, but he plays with a lot of risks. So, what do you think about this style already?
I feel like I used to kind of play that way, and there's still a little of that in me, but it's every single individual situation is where you gotta assess whether to do those moves. To say overall like it's good or bad, it doesn't make sense to say that. But you know, with his aim, if his aim is on and he can, you know, especially if his opponent kind of misses the first big rocket or something, then it's just like a huge payoff. So, you know, it is what it is. There's some risk involved, and but he's worked his strategy out really well. So
I think that's a fair answer, and we have a pretty damn good tournament. I mean, a lot of great players. Is there anyone that you think will make any particular surprises at this tournament?
I think Sturmy might actually sneak into the top 4, but it's really hard to say. There's a lot that 5th through 8th kind of group bracket. I think any one of those can really do some damage, you know, because it's going to still be best of 3. It's not like it's best of 5 at the stage that they'll be playing in. And, you know, maps maybe Cure, like they can get away with, you know, really good control on Cure. And any of those guys, Chance, DKT, Vu, and Sturmy. But I kind of have my eye on Sturmy, I would say. Because, you know, I was seeing him aim. He's in really good shape. It's a matter of, you know, he might be a little rusty with the mental game, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually, bringing up Sturmy and also Vu. I mean, I like their stories because they're people who they had amazing success, and they are kind of legends in their own right, but they haven't had the activity, and they've been kind of rushing to try and get the form back for this tournament. You've had, I guess, you haven't been playing Sturmy, I don't think. I mean, being in Europe and so on. No. But Vu is someone you must have been practicing with. So do you have any insight into his game? What are your thoughts about Vu generally as a player and his performance in going into this tournament?
He's a really solid player. He's got like a sneakiness to his style. He'll catch you at a random spot, especially like on Cure. I think when I was watching you commentate on some Face-It Cups, you were talking about his Cure game, and he can really utilize the greens and the shards and all that, and you might not really expect it. And he's just really patient and disciplined when he's on his game, and it's one of those situations where you can have control, but he's really doing a good job hiding, but also getting some of the lesser items, and then you come up to a big fight and he's super ready for it, and maybe you're not, and then he'll come out on the fight, and he's just you got to be careful versus him. He might catch you at some random spots. Yeah.
Actually, one interesting thing I noticed, like I got loads of stats and data from Spun. She was doing some data mining and quickly sent me over some stuff, and I saw that Vu had the most surprising statistic to me. He actually uses, like, everyone is drifting to using a lot more lightning gun these days, but Vu actually uses so much rocket. Like, he uses more rocket than anyone else, and the difference in the stats is quite huge. Yeah. I don't know if you felt this, but do you feel like it's a volatile way to play, or what do you think about the rocket game?
It suits him well, I think, because he relies on those, capitalizing on a lot of these moments where both players are kind of creeping around a corner, and then, if his rockets are superior to his opponents, he can be 70 less health and armor or something, and then you'll still come out on top. But there's always a balance. Everyone knows that, which weapon you want. You definitely don't want to just be rocket only or anything like that. So, but it's nice to have a weapon that can kind of bail you out of some funky situations. Like I think we know, like Evil's LG, for instance, can, and then everyone has their own little kind of approach to what guns they want to use. So, yeah, he's a solid player. Yeah, his rockets, pretty good. I didn't know that he used them that much, but I know in those particular spots, like those close range, like creeping around corners, boom, he does that pretty well.
Yeah, I guess also being on LAN in this event should help his rocket game also. But talking of Cure, what are your thoughts on the map? It's still very new, but we've had it in the Faceit Cups. It's been in the rotation on all the online cups, so it's getting a lot of play. So how is the map shaping up to you? What are your thoughts?
I like the architecture of the red armor room with the different levels, but I don't like. I like some of the way the fights can develop, but the way the control and the flow of the map is, I'm not a huge fan of. It feels like you can't really impose your will, or really, because there's just so many shards and greens, and it's pretty easy to hide. And you can run the map pretty well. And if your opponent's hiding, all of a sudden they go from 100 and 0 armor to 100 and like 135 in 30 seconds, and you got all the major items, even the yellow. So I kind of feel like there might, I don't know. It's one of those things I kind of wish there's a degree of imposing your will on the opponent more. Like, and I think even a map like ZTN, you can catch them at. You're more vulnerable on ZTN on like the shards by rail, whereas on on Cure, I feel like you know when you're safe. You're just right around the corner, and you can see the shards there. You're good to go. I feel like the player out of control should have more of a burden to make things happen rather than hide. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a fair opinion. It's gonna be interesting to see how things develop. And I'm curious, actually, who you think actually has the best Cure game at the moment? Do you have any insights there?
It feels like it's just. I don't want to use the word like random, but it's just too early of a stage to say like who has the best Cure game. It's one of those. It's pretty unpredictable. So I can't really tell you who has the best game. I mean, probably like 0-4, Rafa, me. I don't know about Evil. I know Vu has a really good Cure game. Chance I know has a good Cure game. So I can't say anyone in particular.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the whole situation then with new maps, because this is a new map, and something that was really interesting to me when we started out the tournament today was that the conventional blood run isn't something that usually is high scoring with great players, because a lot of players don't like to. It's hard to get frags back, so you avoid the commitments unless you can come out on top. But we saw with Rafa and Evil a very fast-paced game, and so to me, this is actually, although I am someone who's kind of pro new maps and stuff like that, it feels like in Quake at the highest level it almost doesn't matter, because when you get the really good players, the maps matter a lot less. What do you think with that? Do you think what camp are you from with the maps argument?
I agree that the best players are going to be probably the best no matter what map. Maybe just a very, very slight advantage to one or another player. But in general, I do favor new maps. I wouldn't have minded Airwalk isn't new, but I don't know. Like Hectic or Silence, I wouldn't have minded either of those maps in the pool, or maybe some other ones that haven't even been as vetted as much. Cure, it kind of felt like was kind of just pushed in, which is fine. It's not a horrible map or anything, but yeah, in general, new maps I would prefer.
Yeah. So we've been talking a little bit about Quake, and I'm not sure when the last time was that you did an interview, but you're still wearing the Evil Geniuses jersey. You're playing for Evil Geniuses. So I guess we're not having as many Quake Live tournaments, but do you want to talk about how Evil Geniuses have been supporting you and your experiences with them?
Right. Well, right now I just I have a really good relationship with them because I've been on the team forever. So I'm not under contract or anything, but they said they wanted to support me coming here. So very happy to wear their tag and support, have their support. But I don't, they're it's kind of just a business decision. They dropped Quake Live, but so I'm not too optimistic that they'll support me at DreamHack, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I won't be there. So we'll see. But yeah, maybe who knows? With the story behind Reborn or any other FPS that'll come out and bring some new life into the deathmatch scene. Because if as long as there are tournaments and people are paying attention, they'll support the game. And I know the manager Alex Garfield, he really loves Quake. So any kind of deathmatch-oriented game, I'm sure they'll get behind, no problem.
That's really good to hear that they're still supporting you, and off of good faith. That's really awesome. I mean, we need more good faith going around in the esports scene. And so, guys, we've had an awesome few words here from Tim. And actually, okay. Okay, cool. So we're gonna close this interview out, and we're gonna go over to the stage where we have actually Rafa, the crowd favorite as far as everyone loves Rafa casting. So we'll go over to him, and let's do it.